Hi, my name is Steve. I'm 29 years old and I'm divorced.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for taking the time today. Um, how long ago did you get divorced?
Well, it was May of '09, I guess. So almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. And how long did the process take from the decision to the filing and to the final resolution?
It was less than a year, 8 months, I think.
Okay.
Not long.
Did you retain counsel? Did you hire an attorney?
I didn't.
Well, I was going to ask you what that cost, but it didn't cost anything if you didn't retain somebody. So
Cost everything.
yeah. Mistake.
Yeah, it was a huge mistake.
Why didn't you retain counsel?
I have a cousin who's an attorney, and I spoke to him, and I spoke with his, at the time, his law partner, and just couldn't, I didn't have the money really to hire an attorney, and so everything was somewhat amicable, and it seemed like from the conversations that I had with them that it was going to be okay. So just I guess partially it was a financial decision, and partially I felt comfortable, I felt confident, and in hindsight that was a pretty big mistake.
Were there any other legal professionals involved?
No, it was fairly clean. We didn't have a mortgage, we didn't have any kids, so we didn't have enough money for there to be a necessity for accountants or anything like that.
So she didn't retain counsel either?
She did, eventually, yes.
Well, I guess I kind of know the answer to this before I even ask the question, but if you had to do it over again, what would you have done differently?
I think I would have just been a little more aggressive. I was the one that left. I was the one that wanted to leave and wanted to file. And in an attempt to be gentle or be kind, I was very passive. And I think I should have been more active. Not aggressive, I guess aggressive's the wrong word, but just more active in pursuing the things that I wanted to see happen.
More proactive.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have kids, so there's no child support, but are you paying alimony?
I'm no longer paying alimony. I was for a while, yeah.
How long were you paying alimony?
Gosh, that's a good question. A year and a half. The final judgment actually was for permanent alimony, and I went back and had to address that later and got it removed.
Permanent alimony. How many years were you married?
6.
Boy, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't get an attorney.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Boy, this stuff in hindsight is pretty easy to see, isn't it?
It's every attorney I've ever talked to, most men who've been divorced, but particularly attorneys, I've had attorneys say to me, at one particular time I remember saying, whoever represented you should be disbarred. And I said, well, I gotta go to law school and pass the bar exam first before they can take it away from me. So
well, it is an interesting question. I mean, what's the phrase? Anyone who acts as his own attorney has an idiot for counsel or something like that. But I suppose if you ask 10 different people, you get 10 different answers on that.
yeah.
Again, knowing what you know now, other than hiring an attorney and being proactive, anything else you would have done differently?
Yeah, I think I would just be, like I said, more proactive. I left, and she said, "Can we wait to file? Do we have to do this right now?" And I said no, because I just didn't. It didn't matter to me. I was out of the house. I was living on my own. I was working and doing what I wanted to do. And so the paperwork was a legal problem that just didn't bother me. and she wanted to wait, and basically what she did is she spent a couple of months researching and circling her wagons, and then went and got an attorney, and she filed, and it was just a mistake. I just should have done it all at one time, filed left at the same time, and I think I would have. I still am suffering from the financial
repercussions.
There you go.
Yeah.
Of those decisions.
Well, what kind of support did you personally have while you were going through this?
Not very much. My friends, for the most part, were not people who were divorced, and I just didn't really have anybody around me. I moved to a different city when I moved out, so I was pretty alone. I smoked a lot of pot, and that was my support infrastructure.
Some would argue better than people. So what advice would you give to someone contemplating divorce?
I think that's a hard question, because there were people that I talked to who said to me, well, is there anything, have you done everything you can do? Are you sure that this is the right decision? Are you sure that you should leave? My best friend, actually, at the time, had grown up with divorced parents. His parents got divorced when he was 5 or 6 years old, and he didn't like the idea at all, because it was something he grew up with. It was something that he had struggled with his entire life, and so I don't know what advice I would give to someone. I think for me, because of my circumstances, I would say get an attorney. Before you do anything, get an attorney, and before you leave or give up anything, get your half, get what you want, get your, put some money aside. Don't go into debt to get out of a marriage that you're unhappy in. Unless you're in physical harm's way, I just don't see a reason to be, in a hurry. It's not going anywhere. If you're miserable now, you'll still be miserable in a year, but maybe you'll be in a better position to get yourself out.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the unique things about divorce is everybody's circumstances are unique. Have you any closing thoughts while we end this interview?
I don't know. I mean, my experience was a very simple experience. The mistakes that I made cost me, what to me was a lot of money. But I think I came out of it in a best case scenario, with not having a mortgage, not having kids. We had 2 cars, and I said, which car do you want? And of course she wanted my car, because I had a BMW, and which she hated and never drove, and I still to this day don't understand that particular decision, but it's just the things that people do, I guess. But I left money in the bank and took debt with me, and I just did the wrong things. But all of I don't even really have a tremendous amount of emotional trauma from the experience. What I have is financial trauma, which I guess makes me angry at times, but it's completely recoverable.
Yeah. Well, listen, Steve, thanks for your time. Really appreciate the thoughts and your perspective on this whole thing, and thanks again.